Greetings. You are now tuned into the vault. Trust Christian, know not to control everything. Just want to thank you for tuning in live, listening to replay. Always appreciate everybody that tunes in live, listens in the replay. This is the vault, episode 700, and it's actually 53. Just want to thank everybody for tuning in live, listening to replay. Private banking trust stories. This is definitely one of those episodes. We do a lot of our episodes based off the conversations we have with trustees and conversations we have with trustees, consultations we have with them. So this is an episode that really ran into a trustee, and this trustee has really want to go over the trustee mindset so you can understand that you either have it or you don't. Because when we talk about private bank and trust stories, one of the stories that we're covering right now deals with an experience where a trustee is seeing the difference, the blatant and obvious difference in the public as a private trustee operating in the public. That's all you're ever going to be doing. You're going to recognize that you're a private trustee in life, that there are entities in the public, that the government, that the public is pretty much commercial. Once you see that, then you come at it from that perspective that, okay, if you know that you're dealing in the public now and you are in the private, you finally are aware you're private. It's almost like you didn't know that there was a matrix. Supposedly now you know there's the matrix, and you unplugged from the matrix. You do that through various different ways, understanding that in the public it's commercial. And then in turn, you learn how to deal with the banks properly. Now this trustee, or just trustees in general, we're going to share a few different stories here on this episode about how we've had trustees reach out. Y'all can listen to the episode where the trustee has the testimonial talking about the account being frozen because somebody tried to say that that was their personal bank account and it wasn't. See, what happens is you have to know what you're doing. The only way to know what you're doing is by doing what the lawyers do. Practice. The attorneys do. Practice. You gotta practice. And so, the story that I will share with you all is trustee goes in to the bank and supposedly they open up certain type of bank accounts. Okay. Well, when you get into the bank ladies and gentlemen, you have to be aware. You have to call in advance to find out if they can do what you're looking for them to do. Why? Because there's a thing called redlining, ladies and gentlemen, in the United States. There's a thing where information is not allowed to go to certain areas. Some people might find this odd. They might find it sad. They might be hurt by it. But the reality is there are certain pieces of information that are not allowed to be in certain communities. And for that reason, when you find it out, you end up endeavoring to go into other environments so you can utilize certain pieces of information. Get things done. So as we move forward and we say, hey, what does that actually look like in the public? Trustees understand that you get to a point you say, okay, we're going to the bank, I'm going to call in advance, because if you don't call in advance, then you're basically setting yourself up for failure. Why? Because you don't know if the people at the bank can help you out yet. You're qualifying the bank. We have to share this with trustees. You qualify financial institutions. There's over 500 to 1,000 banks in the United States. They're not all named the same. They don't all do the same thing. So when you're engaged in, who's going to be the best suit for you, that's something you have to find out. It's not just based off the fact that they're willing allow you to open up a bank account. It's not about that. What it is who's going to be the best service provider in this particular realm: asset protection, wealth preservation. Not just going to let people come freeze the account, then we got to call them and unfreeze it. Those things happen. Trustees would say, some people could say, well, do you recommend certain financial institutions? Once again, it's over 500. Wouldn't we be wrong to just say 3 or 4 or 5? Now, granted, are all created equal? No. So, are there the tops, top 10, top 20? Sure. And we recommend, get the list. That doesn't mean you're going to talk to just 2 and everything's going to be fine. You're not just going to talk to 3 and everything's going to be fine. Some trustees, oh, I'm going to take the shortcut. I'm going to go get with a credit union. What is the benefit of being with a credit union? When have you all heard that credit unions are giving out non-recourse loans? Unless you're going to get it. Do you know that the credit union does or does not do non-recourse loans? There are other financial institutions that can do non-recourse, that can, not come against your personal. If you go into those type of financial institutions, credit unions, sometimes they'll tell you guys you have to put down a personal guarantee, even if you're in trusteeship. How's that a beneficial thing for you? So this is where we differ. Trust Christian, the mentor, said, go to the big financial institutions. Oh, Trust Christian, where I'm gonna get $25,000 from, just to put into the bank account, or $250,000? Yeah, a lot of people out here running around with these 401ks and IRAs. That's not in a tax-free position. That's a deferred tax position. It's a delayed tax position. It's going to get taxed as soon as you liquidate it. So why not be in more fortified positions? Exploring those positions. Oh, well, okay, somebody told you that, you don't, that's what you're doing, that's fine. But we're talking about the bank experience now. See, people can reach out to the vault for asset protection. But when you engage with the financial institutions on the public side, and you're a private trustee, there's an awareness. There's a interviewing. There's a qualifying that has to take place. It's not just I'm just trying to open up a bank account. Some people may say, oh, do private entities, how do they call it a private corporation? If you want to say, oh, can we operate in the public as private? Why do they call it private corporations? We understand why they call it private corporations. It's not just, there's many reasons. Part of it is, who owns it? Do you own it? Is it in the public? Or is it a private corporation? Which now means there's someone private that owns it. What makes it public? The fact that it's in the public, the disclosures are there, and sometimes they'll call it public because it's on the stock market, which means it's even more disclosure there. Correct. Some trustees, they engage with private. Some trustees engage with it via the public. Just that alone. And for that reason, you have an opportunity to say, okay, if I'm going to be a trustee of a family estate, I might want to look into how to deal with these various different peoples. Now, this particular episode was focused on private banking trust, which deals with how to dress, how to speak. You get in front of the bank, you're in front of the bank, they're asking you what type of entity is. You either know or you don't know. Second of all, the bank works for you. Some people might not want to hear that type of thought process, but that's the reality. How does the bank not work for you? How does it not work for the trust? How does it not? When they're the ones holding the capital as a depository relationship. So if it's not just a depository relationship and they're holding it, that means they have some level of responsibility. They have a fiduciary duty, which they do. Now, that's how you know they work for you. You got to think of people inside of trusteeship with you. They're with you. And in turn, that means that you make it a point to communicate with them. Trustees say, we have a 100% success ratio at the vote. Some people might find that hard to believe or something, if that's the case. But the reality is that we have a 100% success ratio. That's just bottom line. Trustees, they come through, they get what they need to get done, and that's just that. But we'll definitely say, do trustees have speed bumps that they have to overcome? Of course they do. First of all, you're engaged in high net worth investor information. Some people may say, "Oh, you think you're a founder and you can walk around like Mark Zuckerberg? Y'all want to go there?" People want to walk around like they Mark Zuckerberg. You not wearing a $300 Brunello Cucinelli T-shirt? And who cares if he was wearing that when he was 18? He's not wearing that now. He's wearing a $300 T-shirt, a $500 T-shirt. Does that mean you're supposed to run around with go into the financial institutions with a $500 T-shirt on, a $300 T-shirt? Some people say, "Oh, Trust Christian, you can't talk about it, or don't talk about it, or people don't talk about it." Of course, people don't want to talk about it. Why would they? Then they would give away the secrets. See, people don't really want to know. If you're going to be in a what's called a competitive environment, people at the top are not trying to lose their position. So no, they're not going to tell you how to dress to get engaged with financial information or financial environments. Oh, Trust Christian, how does it work? You really think they wouldn't give us all the information? Okay, here we go. We'll give you an easy example of how information doesn't leave rooms. We all want to talk about, oh, well, everything just comes to you. No, it just doesn't randomly come to you. You have to be intentful. You have to be intentful. You have to be directed with your mindset towards getting the outcomes that you want. You have to take action. So let's talk about it. How many people know about private credit? They talk about public credit. We sit in rooms. We don't really talk about public credit because we consider those public financial institutions. So we sit in a room with private financial institutions that are managing billions of dollars. Not only that, it's not just a private financial institution, it's a private lending platform, private lending platforms that are private credit. They are distinguished differently. They are not public institutions. They're not regulated like a public bank. But how many people know they can go to private credit route? We're not talking about hard money. Oh man, give me a hard money. Trust Christian, that's all I know. Like, we're not talking about that, ladies and gentlemen. We're talking about private credit, various different forms of credit facilities in the private. Just bottom line, some people say, "Oh man, I didn't know about that." Great, that's the point. There is a public and there is a private. And when you go engage with public people, you're going to get public conversation. You're going to have to understand how to have a conversation with them about public credit. And it's the same thing with private credit. Some people say, "Oh man, I didn't know about the private credit is the best route for you to go. Private banking trust, no doubt about it." Why? Because they understand what you're looking to do. They're a little bit more flexible. They understand how you're dealing with capital, the structure that you're dealing with the capital in. Of course they do. Of course they do. Not a question. "Oh man, I want to find the people that know what I'm doing in trusteeship." You go to a private credit facility. Why would you go public route? A lot of trustees, we can sit here and have this conversation. If you know that you want to say you want to build credit on the family estate, the trust, why wouldn't you go to private credit route? Why are you going to public credit route? Because that's what people have been taught. That's why. "Oh, I'll go public credit." Nah, you can go private. And when you do your research on it, "Oh, Trust Christian, you can do private credit." We know private credit people, of course. It's not like it's not that it's hidden. It's that it's not in the mainstream. It's not in the public. Why is private credit not in the public? What are you guys talking about? So what do you think? Private credit is some loan shark type stuff? Private credit is not loan shark mentality. These are still billion-dollar funds that are just private. Why would they be focused on trying to put you out of business? Oh, we're going to do it. They giving you money. Why would they want you out of business? They don't want you out of business. So these aren't loan sharks. These aren't, oh, we give them money and then they can't pay. They go into default. How's that helpful to them? It's not predatory. Oh man, I'm in the private sector. It's gonna cost me more. It does cost more for sure. The returns definitely, the demand, the return profile, the demand of the return profile is definitely different. But those are things that you come to learn, and then you find ways to find things that mitigate or arbitrage that, so you can make a profit. So we appreciate everybody that tunes in live, listen to replay. Always appreciate everybody that tunes in live, listen to replay. Christian at trustchristian.com. Once again, that's Christian at trustchristian.com is the email you can reach out to. We got a bunch of trustees that we got going through the program right now. Always shout out to all the trustees, new trustees. You definitely know sometimes trustees will listen to these stories and they'll say, oh man, is this about me? Trustees, this is not about anything personal. This is about taking the stories that we get through trustee training and giving them out in a way in which it educates more people at one time, instead of people just saying, oh man, I need to know about this private banking trust stuff, and next thing you know, you're not even with a private institution, not even aware of private institutions, or not engaged with private institutions, don't know the name of them. You can Google them. Y'all really don't want to know a lot of the things that we talk about at the vault. Some of it you can Google. We're not going to say like certain pieces of private information, but knowing that there is private credit, they talk about that sometimes in the public sector. It's just not mainstream. So somebody could ask, well, why is it not mainstream? Because most people are in the public. It's not private for a reason. It's public. And this is the difference. This is the difference between you living in a republic and you living in a democracy. We're going to go ahead and say this in the public. And we can go ahead and let it be for the record. Because the record is that there is supposedly a democracy and a republic. But both of them don't exist. Only one of them does. Somebody trying to sit here and say one or the other. I mean, both of them can happen at the same time. How? That's not the case. Most people are not aware of the regimes that are in power. And first of all, that just shows you don't even know the jurisdiction you live in. It's almost like you're living in a jurisdiction and you're not aware of the law, but you think you're aware of the law. How are you aware of the law, ladies and gentlemen, when people on the outside are looking at the United States as a pillar of freedom for people to enterprise, and then the people in the country are feeling like, oh man, we're in such a bubble. Okay. They're in a bubble. What bubble? They're in a democracy, right? Like, how do you compare the United States to China? How do you compare United States to Russia? Like, how do you compare these countries? And people guys sometimes possibly take a step back. We're not here to talk about politics in a negative way, but we're talking about the base laws in order for someone to start a business. People become millionaires. Everybody's like, oh, go become this, become that. You could be a multi-millionaire or whatever. Well, you think you can do that in a lot of other countries? If it was so easy, they would be truly competing with development. Some countries are competing with the United States on development. Many of them are, but there are many that aren't. And so for that reason, it's imperative to, we just see right now, we're in the roaring 20s. We appreciate the audience that's listened to us for over 5+ years, 6+ years. We know we're in the roaring 20s. It's just the roaring 20s, ladies and gentlemen. The market has been at all-time highs for over a year, maybe even 2 or 3 years now. For that reason, it's just a massive opportunity to take advantage of the trends that you know are going to be substantial in nature. People are talking about generational wealth. Well, whether people know it or not, they probably didn't dream big enough. That's just bottom line. They didn't dream big enough. And for that reason, they're just going to get what they asked for. Oh, I just want one house. Oh, I just want to have a nice car. And they're going to get that. But the times that we're living in, ladies and gentlemen, people are building islands and living on them. If that's something that you desire to do, the roaring 20s is the time to do it. The convergence of technology and enterprise has pretty much, just like people, if you're aware, they said they had an industrial revolution. They say that there's reports, or there's a consciousness that states that we're in the fourth industrial revolution, ladies and gentlemen, with the technology. So people try to talk about the banking. How do you want crypto? That's the wild part about it. How do y'all want crypto? That means that the government's going to be in control of the money. How do you want crypto? See, some people don't understand what freedom is. The government doesn't have. Think about it. The government, even though they print gold and silver, printed, they print gold and silver just like they print paper. They print gold and silver like they print paper. There's a difference when you hold the paper, and there's a difference when you hold the gold. Right? They're not equal, right? Right. But the government prints both of them, right? Right. The government prints both the gold, the silver, and the paper money, but they're not equal, right? Right. That's the environment that you live in. People don't understand how public and private is right there in front of your face. Think about what the mainstream uses. Fiat. The private, gold and silver. Precious metals. Art. That's the difference, ladies and gentlemen. We encourage you all to double down in the roaring 20s right now, and just stay excited about what's out here, because there's massive opportunity, and we look forward to connecting with you all. Look forward to seeing you all, hearing from you all, because there's so many that say, oh, I want to protect my family. But is it a wish or a mere hope? But then there's families that we've had come through the vault, suited and booted and fully protected. Bottom line, they're protected. So when you deal with the bank, you're interviewing the bank to see who can protect the family estate, not just opening up a bank account. It's seeing who can protect the family estate. Christian@trustchristian.com. Once again, the email to reach out to is Christian@trustchristian.com.